So how do you use ChatGPT to write a blog post? That's what we're going to be doing in this video. I'm going to have you watch over my shoulder if you'd like and watch me create an actual blog post. Now, I've been blogging since 2009 and I have seen a lot happen over the years around blogging. And I decided to put ChatGPT or AI to the test. And for 60 days, I published one blog post every day, SEO optimized, using a couple of tools I'm going to share in this video to see what would happen. And I specifically chose one of my blogs that was honestly a little dead. I was still getting traffic to it, but I hadn't published a blog post there in a couple of years. And here's what happened. So if we pop over the screen, recently I did an entire 3-hour blogging system workshop that I'm going to summarize for you today in this video. But if I jump over here to this slide, you'll see that back in September of my experiment is when I started. And by November, less than 60 days, I had increased the blog traffic 417%. This blog went from around 30 clicks per day to over 120 clicks per day, and it's continuing to go up. So what is it that I did? What were the steps? That's what we're going to walk through in this video. So there's a few tools that I like, and I am going to use one of my newer blogs that I'm working on. Only has a couple of articles to show you what to do with a brand new blog. Now this one's on Kajabi, so that's the tool that I'm going to be using today. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to create an article. So let's start from the beginning. I like to start with RankIQ. Now, I have a complete tutorial on RankIQ on this channel. I'll put the link down in the description. But what I love about this tool is it's a combo keyword research, but it also does all the LSI keywords. If you don't know what that means, it'll make sense in just a second. Now, there's lots of ways that you can find keywords. You can, of course, come to their keyword library, and they have every kind of niche that you can imagine. And all of these are already loaded up with low competition keywords. Nothing in here is ever high competition. They do the keyword research for you. I also like to use, so I'll look there first, often sometimes, see if I can find good keywords. I also love to use LowFruits. I've also got an entire playlist on how I use LowFruits. It's a great keyword research tool. And the concept is that it helps you to find low competition keywords. The more fruits you have, the weaker the number of websites are on the first page. So what we're going to do today is, I've already teed this up. I want to write an article on how to sell sports cards on eBay. Something I've been doing for the last 2 years and just love doing it. We ship out cards every day, and I want to write an article with ChatGPT's help. So we're going to select this word right here, how to sell sports cards on eBay. So I'm going to copy that just to show you that in addition to going with their kind of recommended keywords for your niche, you can also come back here to reports and you can run a report for any keyword. So boom, we're going to run a report and it's going to take just a couple of minutes. Now, RankIQ, by default, I believe you get 16 reports like this that you can run every month. And you can always upgrade to the next level. While I'm recording this, they are running like a 50% off special. So I'll have the link down in the description as well. All right, so this is what it gives us back. It's telling us that the grade score we need is an A-, not as competitive with our competition. We need at least 1,400 words. The competition's a 30 out of 100, so it's pretty low in terms of competition. And their time to rank analysis, they consider this to be very fast. Now, what we have here is all of the top common keywords of the first 30 articles for this keyword search phrase. So it analyzed all the top 30 articles and said, hey, these are the most common keywords. You should include these in your article. We're going to come back to this in just a second. Then down here, we will look at optimizing the title. And so I'm going to move my video so that you can see this, and we're going to write this. So I like to really start with the actual phrase here. So we're going to do that. come down here, throw it in here. So I've got this already queued up and I can adjust it as I want. And the goal here is we want to optimize this until we hit a really good score. You can see here, it's telling us we have an A score, but it's telling us also that the title's a little short. We need a few more words. Now, what's cool is I can come down here and I can get some other ideas of my competition for this. What words are they using? And so it looks like it's all over the place, but I can also look up here and try to use some of these words. So how to spell or how to sell sports cards on eBay, making money guide. Let's see, I see fast, cheap, low end. I wonder if there's a lot of low end sports cards on here. Let's see, low end. I only see that once. Maybe I should say probably a little too long. Maybe I go with guide. Let's see how we do here. Okay, how to sell sports cards on eBay 2024 guide. I like that. So we're going to go with that for our article. All right, now the next step we want to do is we want to get an outline. Down here, the tool shows us the top 3 best articles according to their analysis, right? So these pages have the most comprehensive content on the topic. So what I like to do is I like to click into these articles, and you can use an SEO extension like this where you can look in here and see the outline and copy and paste this. I've also found another one where if I just click the little button, it copies my header. So I'm going to throw this over into, just so you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just throwing it into a little notepad on my other screen. All right, we're going to do that for the next one. Click on this one. Let's grab, what we're doing here is we're grabbing our competition's outline, and we're going to build a better outline. And there's a few ways we can do this. And I vary how I do this, but for sake of time, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to do it. Oh, that's actually eBay itself, so we don't want that. So what we'll do is here, we'll look for another one of these articles. How to sell sports cards on eBay. Looks like we already got that one. That's a YouTube video. So when you see things like this, where it means this is pretty low competition. Let's see if this one will give us some interesting things. So I try to get always 3 if I can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just copying all of these. So all of the outlines. And you can use ChatGPT. I'm going to use Claude. I've been testing out different tools. They work close to the same. There's things I like better about Claude, but there's things I like better about ChatGPT. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, can you help me write a better original blog outline? Let's say blog post outline for my article on how to sell, back up here, how to sell sports cards on eBay. Here is my competition's outline. All right, then I'm going to copy and paste that in there, and let's see what it does. Now, depending on what I get back, I may tweak things. I may ask it to narrow it down. Sometimes it creates a little bit too granular of an outline, and I just want the main headers. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing here. I don't want like a super detailed outline. I want to let the ChatGPT tool do its magic, but I want to give it some direction. So what I'm going to say now is, can you give me a bullet list of just the main headers? Let's see if it will produce that for me. Introduction, choosing cards to sell, preparing your listings, selling successfully on eBay, shipping cards, going beyond eBay, key takeaways. I may still improve some of this. Let me go over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to add just a few more of my own experience in here, which I highly recommend. And we'll come right back. Okay, so here's where I landed, and I used a lot of what it recommended here, but I gave it a few more things, which I highly recommend that you do. Is if you've got experience, you can even create and use some of your own ideas here. That's really important. So what I've got here is our title again, or our main keyword phrase is how to sell sports cards on eBay. And then these are going to be my H2 headers: finding sports cards to sell, pricing your sports cards, taking pictures, writing compelling listings, setting up your inventory, shipping. I'm going to put sports cards safely, and then growing your eBay sports cards business. All right, so we got our outline here. Now, this is the next step. The next step is I use a tool called ZimmWriter, and I did a video also on this. You can check it out, but I will just come over here to ZimmWriter.com. Now, what ZimmWriter does is you purchase ZimmWriter, and while I'm talking about this, ZimmWriter is available for lifetime access. And what it'll do is you connect ChatGPT on the back end, and you can create 1 cent and 2 cent articles that are 4,000, 5,000 words. So the question might be, Jonathan, why not just use ChatGPT to write my article? And here's why. Because by default, and you've probably figured this out, if you were to give it what I have here and say, write a 4,000 word article, it's going to produce around 600 words. Now, you can say, what if you feed it one part of your outline at a time? What often happens is it starts repeating itself. It just doesn't make for a good article. And so what the ZimmWriter software does is it is engineered in the background to produce a really good written article, create even some bullet list in your article. You can also make sure it covers all the major keywords, like I'm going to show you in just a second. And it's just a really smart piece of software. Now, the one note is I'm a Mac person. This tool right now is only Windows. So if you're a Mac person like me, you will need Parallels to run on your desktop. It does cost around $99 a year. There is also humanwriter.com, which I'm not going to get into. It's free right now to sign up, and it works almost as good, not exactly, but it does the same thing. So let's jump back over here. And this is the ZimmWriter software. Again, it's nothing fancy, but it is oh so powerful. Now, once you have the ZimmWriter software downloaded, you will, and it only takes one time to do this, this is where you're going to connect ChatGPT. You're going to want to go to platform.openai, or just type in ChatGPT Playground or Open Playground. And you're going to come over here and you want to go to API keys. And you're going to want to give it you want to get the secret key. So you just literally hit this button, type in something like ZimmWriter. It gives you a secret key. You put that secret key into ZimmWriter. Whenever you boot it up for the first time, it's going to ask you for this API key. You do this one time and it's connected. And it's crazy when I say 1 cent articles, 2 cent articles that are 4,000 words. It is true. So now that we have what we need, again, here's our title, here's our outline. Let's go over to ZimmWriter and let me show you what I do. All right, so right here, ZimmWriter. I wish I could make this a little bit bigger, but it is all I got. Can't really zoom in on that, but let me explain it to you. So step 1 says the blog post title. I just put in the main keyword phrase. So I'm going to put in how to sell sports cards on eBay. Now, I'm not going to add in 2024 or anything like that. I think it gets confusing anytime you add in numbers. So I just give it the main thing. All right. Then I'm going to grab my outline and I'm going to copy it. And if I come over here and click on this right here that says copy H2 or 3 or 4 from clipboard, if you click on that, boom. Again, I know it's small, but right here you can see that it's put my outline right in there. All right. So far, I've got my post title and I've got my outline. Don't worry about any of this other stuff. They're just options for you. Now, section length, I'm going to choose medium. You can do tiny, short, medium, long. Second person's what I'm going to do. You, yours, yours. I'm going to click on enable list so that it will put bullet list where it makes sense to do, which makes for a nice article. I've got enable FAQs. So it's going to add some FAQs at the end of my blog post. I've got enable key takeaways. So it'll put a key takeaway at the beginning of the blog post. You can choose an audience personality. If you don't know what that is, you click on this little question mark right here. I know it's small, but my style is the everyman personality, practical, common kind of style. If you have a different style, you can do that. And then down here is keywords. Now I'm going to get rid of these. These are from an old blog post or one I already did. This is where you're going to put in the keywords. So if we come back to RankIQ, and you remember these keywords right here, that's where these are going to come into play. What the magic of this tool is, it's going to work in as many of these keywords to SEO optimize our article. So I'm going to click on download report. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to bring this over. You can see it here. And I'm just looking for, I want to highlight all of these keywords. Just the one for the content. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to paste them in here. Boom. Literally 3 steps because I leave all the other settings the same. I put in the main keyword. I give it the outline that I want. And then I give it all of these words. And I've got 5. You can have up to 10. I'm going to say 7. So what this is, how many keywords per subsection do you want to try to work in? So I'm going to put in 7 in that one. All right, down here, the button that I use to run it is Start SEO Writer Without Scraping. It's not going to go scraping. That's extra. You got to go set up something else. I tend to it works well just like this. So boom. And you can see here, down in the bottom, it says 6% complete. We're going to give it some time to write our article. It takes a minute or two to create the article, but our article's being created. So while that's happening, let's go get everything else set up. If you remember let's grab our main title here. I am going to jump into, let me close out some of these tabs. I'm going to jump into Kajabi because that's where my blog is hosted. I'm going to click on, move myself again. Click on new post. All right, so we can zoom in just a little bit more so you can see this a little better. Okay, so it wants to know the title. I'm going to copy and paste my title. I'm also going to put my title down here. This is for SEO. This is my SEO title, meta title, and meta description. We'll get a meta description when we get our results back with our article in just a second. I like to go ahead and create a custom URL. My SEO best practices is to try to include the keyword in there, but I don't want it to be more than 5 words. So I'm probably going to go with sell sports cards eBay, right? So sell sports cards eBay. That's going to be my slug, the URL. All right, what else? I've got a tag over here for me to organize it by category, and I have one for selling on eBay. And we need to have an image. I use Canva a lot, but before I use Canva, I use Get Stencil, and I already have this set up. So Get Stencil is also great because it's got 5 million royalty-free images that you can create like this. So I tend to have just a standard template here, and I am going to This was one I did yesterday. So I'm going to do how to sell sports cards on eBay. Now, I don't add in the date, even though I have 2024 in my title, so that I don't have to change this image every year. That can be pretty annoying. But we need to go find a background of sports cards. So we're going to search over here for that. Now, I'm doing all of this while my article is being created. All right, let's click on this one. That looks pretty cool. It's got my logo here. And then I'm going to click on download, how to sell sports cards on eBay, start download. All right, now that's downloading. I can come over here. I can upload this image. There we go. Upload the file. We want to give it the alt text. This is also good for SEO. So I always type in my keyword, main keyword, how to sell sports cards on eBay. That's done. We need to also come down here and add the image in here. Oops, push the wrong button here. How to sell sports cards on eBay. All right. So we've got that rolling. We need to get our meta description here, and then we need our article, and we'll be good to go. Let's check and see how it's doing. And it's done. So here's the output. I know it's really small, but what I'll do is I'll copy and paste this. It's small, but basically it cost me 3 cents for this article, and it produced 1,800 words. This comes in Markdown format. So what I do is there is a website that I use that is called Markdown to HTML. There's a lot of them out there. It's free to use. And all I do is I copy and paste it on this side, and over here it has all the formatting. So I don't have to sit here and do little formatting. I can just copy this. And then I do like to come over here to the RankIQ tool. And I want to go over here to the Content Optimizer. Now, the way that the Content Optimizer works is you could come in here if you weren't using AI and you just start typing away, how to sell sports cards. Now, if you look over here on the right, you can see that there are the recommended keywords. The way that works is if you were to write it in like potential buyers, eBay listing, you can see it turning green over here on this side. And that's how you know that your article is starting to be optimized, because you want to pay attention to this right here. Right now, my grade's an F. I want it to be at least an A-, and ideally somewhere around 1,400 words. But with the magic of the article that ChatGPT created, and we gave it all that info, let's see what happens when I copy and paste it in here. Boom! Isn't that cool? I hit an A- grade, which is exactly what I need. And I could improve that if I want to a little bit. And I've got the recommended word count. Now, one little thing that I do, and again, some of the stuff you don't need in here. This is our meta description. We're going to stay with this. We've got a better blog post title, but I'm not worried about that. What we can do is we click over here on unused. One little pro tip, if you still want to get a little bit more words, or you want to get a little bit more better grade, like an A++ grade, then what I do is I'll come over here and I'll highlight all these unused keywords. And you can go to ChatGPT, or like I'm today using Claude, I can come in here and I can say to Claude, please write 5 FAQs for my blog post about how to sell sports cards on eBay. Also, please try to use as many of the following keywords as you can. copy and paste those in. Now, these are bolded, so I just want to take that bold off. I don't want it to accidentally put bold in the response. All right. So that's going to start writing right away. So what we're doing here now is we're finalizing this. Now, while that's writing, one of the things that I do is I use Pledge a Shield. You can get started for just $3 a month and have 100 checks that you can do. What does it do? It helps for me to be able to make sure that my article is in fact original. I don't want to be plagiarizing anybody else. And I find 9 times out of 10 that I'm not. Occasionally it'll pick up on things. It's maybe like a headline that was also used on another blog post. That's fine. But I don't want to have several sentences or a paragraph that's just taken from somewhere, right? So I will use Pledge a Shield, and we're going to copy and paste it in here before we do the final look and publish scenario. All right, let's see what Claude is done, and it is finished. So I'm going to highlight these 5 here, come back over here, and down here, I've got an FAQ section already. This is what the ZimmWriter tool created for me. So I'm going to create a little space and copy and paste these in. Watch the score, A+, and I've reached the 2,000 word limit now. So I do want to clean this up just really quick. So what I do is I'm just coming in here. One of the things you can do is you can click on the line that you want to fix, and you can say, I want this to be an H3 heading. There you go. Boom. Next one, H3 heading. There you go. So that it all looks similar and it looks good. We've got 2 more we need to do. And then we're ready to check out our score and see how we're doing here. Okay, so there we go. We got an A++ score for this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I use Command A and then Command C to copy it. Then I'm going to bring it over here to Pledge a Shield. I'm going to put in the text and say check. So as it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put the article into my blog post. Here's the content section. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I want to make sure this is like black font on all this before, there we go. Okay, we want to get rid of this. We don't need that in there. This is our meta description. So this is the one that ZimmWriter created for us. So let me come out of full screen. Let's go down here. Let's put in our meta description. And I wonder why this did not load properly. We want to make sure we got that in there. Let's come up here and hit save. Maybe it just needed to be saved. Yep, there it is. Okay. And then what I'm doing now is I'm just looking through this article and any kind of formatting. If I want to come in here and I want to say, hey, I want to break up some of this stuff here. Awesome. If any of these are too long, if there's links that I want to add, great, but I won't take the time to put a bunch of links in for this video, but I would definitely add some internal links to other blog posts of yours. That's super, super smart. And also any external outlinks or links that go out to other websites. But yeah, this is looking good. Let's see how our Pledge a Shield is doing. We have a 100% unique article. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so come back here to Kajabi and everything's good to go. So I've got my title, I've got my article. Of course, you want to add some links. I'll do that later, so you don't have to sit here and watch me. Just add in links. We've optimized our image. That's good to go. We've got all of our SEO stuff good to go. And guess what? We're going to hit publish. Now, I was explaining it while I was doing it. If I was just doing it, it would probably even take 10 or 15 minutes less. But if we jump over here to the blog now, let's refresh. Let's go to the blog. Boom, there is our article. Let's go into our article, how to sell sports cards on eBay. And here is our article. Now you could always come in here and add a few images along the way in here, add some more links, but this is a great blog post. Now I do recommend reading through it, adding in, taking things out that are not necessarily you agree with or not how you do it. Adding in some of your own experience is super, super smart. I always try to find a spot in the blog post where I can add in my own experience. I think Google is still very much in alignment with wanting to share real experiences. Now, if you have that, and I probably should have showed this sooner, but if you've watched the video this far, you might be saying, what is Google's stance on AI? And while I can't predict the future, I want to show you one interesting quick thing that I thought was interesting. Someone showed this to me back a little bit ago. Google made a change on their helpful content recommendations. Now, these are the recommendations for us content creators. And on the left is what it used to say, but they quietly changed a few words on the right. And I know it's small. I don't know. Let me see if I can make it bigger. In fact, let me see if I go full screen. If this will help. Okay. So on the left, they used to say, Google searches helpful content system generates a signal used by our automated ranking system to better ensure people see original helpful content written by people for people in search results. But look at this. They changed written by people for people to just created for people. That's a subtle little shift, but a major shift at the same time. That is them opening the door to AI when used responsibly. Now, there's always going to be bad actors who are going to not look at articles. You definitely don't want to do stuff in the health niche or pet healthcare, and you're just putting out information nothing about. I highly recommend that you create blogs around stuff you're interested in, you're passionate about, or you have some experience in. That way you can mix in your own experience. Because the other thing that I shared on my workshop was Google's EAT. It used to be just EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. But they added another E, and it's the word experience. So even though AI is here to stay, we do want to sprinkle in our own personal experience. So the article that I just published, as soon as I get done here, I'm going to be adding links in it, maybe some images, and I'll probably look for a few places where I could just write in some of my own personal experience. And it will satisfy all this because the ChatGPT can satisfy the expertise and authoritativeness. The trustworthiness comes with the fact that we can verify what the AI created because we have experience and we know right from wrong. And the experience part is where we put in and inject our own personal experience. So you see how all of this combined can work when done correctly. So what do you think? I know this was a longer video than normal, but hopefully you enjoyed this process. This is something I broke down over 3 hours with a whole bunch of students, but I tried to condense it into just showing you how I do this. And I do this every day across different blogs, and I continue to see my articles ranking, getting new email subscribers, and having a lot of fun producing really helpful content. So what questions do you have? Maybe I didn't cover. Go ahead and ask them below in the comments. And also, all the links to any tools that I used and some of the other demos that I've created on these tools, I'll place in the description below. Until next time, never forget your message matters.